Namaste, good evening, sir. Welcome to this webinar on Digital India role of TRI. Welcome, friends. On behalf of Ahmedabad Management Association, I welcome you all and Dr. Waghela Saab too. Dr. P.D. Waghela joined as Chairman, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India on 1st October 2020. Prior to TRI, Dr. Waghela was Secretary, Department of Pharmaceuticals, Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. Dr. Waghela had graduated in Commerce in the year 1982. He did his MBA, Masters in Business Administration, with specialization in Financial Management in the year 1984, and has also obtained MA in Development Studies, Public Policy and Management from the Institute of Social Studies, The Hague in the Netherlands in the year 2005. He was decorated with a doctorate in the year 2013 in Public Management and Policy by Sardar Patel University, Anand, Gujarat. He joined Indian Administrative Services, IAS, in the year 1986. He has held various assignments starting from district level to state level, during which he had won a number of awards for excellence as best collector and district magistrate and district development officer too. In his assignment as chairman of Kandla Port Trust from the year 2008 to 2013, the port was awarded as the best port for 5 years during his tenure. He worked as Chief Commissioner of Sales Tax in Gujarat, during which period he has played a major role in drafting GST laws, its rules and fixing GST rates of goods and services as a convener of national level GST law and GST committees. He was closely involved in the GST implementation at national level as a key member of GST implementation committee. As a secretary pharmaceuticals, he has launched the 4 ambitious schemes to transform the sector. He also worked as convener of Empowered Group 3, now it is known as EG2, which handled availability of critical medical supplies like PPE, N95 masks, ventilators, and testing kits. I'm very happy to inform you that today India is exporting these items for which India was otherwise dependent on import during pre-COVID time. In May 2018, Dr. Waghela was honored by the Honorable Prime Minister of our country for excellence in public administration while appreciating his contributions in implementation of GST in India. Having said this, I must add that apart from everything, Dr. Waghela Saab is a very wonderful human being. Thank you, Dr. Waghela Saab, for being with us. I would request you to please take over and address us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Ashish. You have appreciated, my earlier work as a bureaucrat, and the I see AMA is not a new platform for me. See, all people are known to me, and I feel completely at home when I will be addressing to the, all the participants over there. My, career as a bureaucrat, most of the time I spent in Gujarat. Only the last stint of my career, I came to Delhi, and it has been a wonderful experience to work with, citizens of Gujarat and all the, various stakeholders who are, involved in management, in enterprise, and in the, the other economic activities. With this, I'm thinking that I would like to address the whole issue by dividing my lecture into 6 parts. I will, in the beginning, introduce what is telecom and digital economy and how it is going to be the very, very crucial sector in the coming days, not only for India, but for the whole world. Then I will introduce TRI, how TRI is, is going to be very critical. Its role is going to be very critical in leading the country towards, digital economy. Then I will also tell what are the, important statistics and key performance indicators for telecom as well as broadcasting sector. And then naturally I will come to the area that, the area of the subject under discussion is that what is the TRI role in shaping this sector. And naturally, it will be fit for the occasion that I also tell what are the current challenges and what are the way forward for all of us. So it is a slightly lengthy presentation, but I will not take much time. And what I would request that if you have any question, please write it down. So at the end of the presentation, we'll be able to reply to that. Some of my officers from the TRI also have joined, and any technical aspect, they will be able to handle. So, the telecom sector is very, very significant for the economy of India. And at present, its share in GDP is at 6.5%. As per the NDCP policy 2018, the target is to increase it by 8% by 2022. Already, the telecommunication is going to play a very, very important role in digital economy in affecting all the sectors and every aspect of life. If you look at the kind of technological changes which are taking place, we can list out 5G technology is one of the most talked about technology, and related to that is Internet of Things, machine to machine communications, then artificial intelligence and machine learning, robotics, and data analytics. Also connected with the emerging new technology. Very important thing is that various different technologies. Now, that a lot of convergence is taking place, and that convergence requires, to converge laws and policies. But this is, very, very important if we want to really take the full benefit of the emerging technologies and the 5G. So let us take example of 5G, alone. If you see the, the user experience data rate, it is, it is megabit second, it is 10 at present in 4G. It is going to go to 100. In spectrum efficiency is going to improve by 3 times. Then mobility, kilometer per hour is going to increase by, almost, from 350, 400 to 500. Latency, is, it is going to increase, it is going to improve from 10 to 1 and a milliseconds. Then let us take the example of connection density. So, devices, how many devices can be handled per square kilometer? It is at present, the 1 lakh. It will be 1 million. Am I right? 10 raised to 6 is 1 million. Anyway, so that, then network energy efficiency, the energy, the decrease, there will be a decrease in use of the power, that decrease will be, already 100 times. In 4G, it decreased 10 times, but here 5G, the decrease will be almost 100 times. So that means efficiency will increase by 100 times. And then area traffic capacity, this will increase, from, it was 0.01 in 2G, 3G. In 4G, it is 1, but it will go up to 10. And peak data rate, peak data rate will go up from 1 to 20 and gigabyte per second. So we can see the kind of revolution it will bring into communication. And naturally, how this technology is going to 5G technology, which is when it's coupled with Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and other things, how it is going to, affect the economic verticals, that is agriculture, for example. I'm just giving example. So precision farming, healthcare, 5G connected, ambulance, and online diagnosis, online surgery also. So those kind of things. That industrial automation, industry 4.0 is very much talked about. Already Germany, USA, automobile industry, and I think aeroplane manufacturing, they have already moved to industry 4.0. Mining, the smart mining will be there, which will reduce the any kind of possibility of accidents, and it will actually increase the efficiency and productivity of the mine operations. So education, online education, we all know during this pandemic, it has been there, but this 5G will be completely change the way we educate our children and we get educated. Energy and grid power, smart grid will be possible. The energy saving will be there. At present, the wastage of energy can be easily detected. Automobile industry, autonomous vehicles, the smart city, IoTs in utilities, various kind of utilities, gaming and sports, online games and sports will come up, and financial market, fintech. the stock, not only stock market. I'm giving one example, but thousands of examples been given. I'm just trying to tell, how it is going to change this thing, how it's going to change change the economy and our life. So now let us take example what kind of 5G, IoT, M2M applications will be there. So I have listed out smart home, wearable, smart city, industry automation, smart energy, and connected car. So let us take example of smart home only. So security alarm, already IoT, already devices have started coming up, but the 5G devices will be more modern and more comprehensive nature. Light control, then this AC and heat, that kind of control system. Remote control, already it has started coming. Then door control, energy efficiency, entertainment, and appliances. There will be a lot of thousands of use cases we cannot even imagine. As 5G will be implemented, as the 5G is enrolled, is rolled out, a lot of entrepreneurs will come up, and they will start preparing use cases which will be contextualized for India's need. And this can actually empower those who are excluded at present. That means farmers, artisans, the MSMEs, informal sector, students. So what we need to do is that we have to handle the whole rollout and its subsequent changes in a very, very careful manner, so that the full benefit of this can be taken. And considering the fact that India has already 1/6 of the global population with us, we can be the leader when it comes to digital economy. One thing so I talked about the kind of technology which is going, but another thing which is happening is that there's a convergence of technology. So convergence is taking place in the entire value chain of service delivery to end users. The same content is being delivered in many formats and through multiple technologies. So, for example, content, let us see. So, contents, news is available as text, audio, video format, or print or digital format. So, the media convergence is taking place. Now, till come to network convergence. So, a network, receives and transmits many formats of contents. So, for example, fixed broadband network processes voice, video, and data, offering multiple services such as telephony, television, and the internet. So, here convergence is taking place. So in technological convergence, a device performs many types of functions and delivers many formats of content. And biggest example of device convergence is mobile, which smartphones, smart TVs, wearable IoTs, industrial IoTs, smart city devices, and platforms. So this convergence of technology necessitates that we have a closer look at the various laws which are at present, which are there in order to regulate the various activities. For example, we have Indian IT Act, then we have Indian Telegraph Act, we have Indian Wireless Act, and there are other acts also. So these acts requires to be converged in order to see that the convergence of technology also results into convergence of governance. So now let us come to the TRAI. That means, the role of TRAI, the Telecom Regulatory Authority of India, is going to be very, very crucial and very, very critical in, spearheading this technological revolution, and to see that India gets the maximum benefit, and India can become a leader in the digital economy as well as in the data economy. So TRAI has been established under the TRAI Act 1997, and it is mandated to regulate telecom and broadcasting services. Broadcasting was given to TRAI in 2004. So that in the broadcasting, we regulate broadcasting as well as cable TV services also. The basic, the purpose of the law is to protect the interest of the service providers and consumers. And second important, very important aspect is that we are also supposed to take care of the various stakeholders, and to see that the industries are is promoted, and orderly growth of both the sectors take place. What TRAI has used basically three, four instruments in order to meet this objective. One is we make recommendations to the government on both broadcasting as well as on the telecom. We also make regulations, and we also issue tariff orders and directions. We'll talk more about this. So you can see the whole ecosystem of the governance at present. So on one hand, government is there, and in government MIB and Ministry of Communication is there. So they basically are concerned with policy making, licensing, and spectrum management. TRAI, as I told you, we make recommendation on policies, new technology, licensing framework, spectrum auction and pricing, broadcasting, DTH, and cable operators. Then regulations we have on interconnection, quality of service, tariff orders, mobile number portability, tariff regulation of DTH and cable operators. We also issue directions and orders as and when required. We also have one appellate authority called TDSAT, Tribunal for Adjudication of Telecom Matters. So they can adjudicate any dispute between licensors, licensees, and group of consumers. Also, they hear and dispose of appeals against the decisions, regulations, orders, and of the of TRAI. So now let us see what we are in a very, very strong position. In the last 4-5 years, India has taken a leap in as far as digital telecom industry is concerned. Huge, enormous size. See, we have our population is 1.38 billion, and against we have total 22 licensed service areas. India has been divided into licensed service area in order to handle the handle the growth of the telecom industry, and in order to allot spectrum spectrum to the various stakeholders. Then see, we have mobile as well as fixed line subscriber, which is 1168 million. That is 116 million telephones that mobile plus fixed line telephones are there. Naturally, fixed line telephones are decreasing, and tele density is that 86.22. That means every 100%, 86.22 the number of telephones. Mobile in penetration. This is one of the most significant achievement you can say India has. So total mobile subscribers are 1148 million. Tele density in urban is 138%. That means every 100 persons there are 138 mobile. And in rural area the tele density is less, but but it has gone up from a very small number. It is around 59%. And this is one thing which I think we need to introspect, and we need to say what kind of usage they are putting to the mobile. But minutes of usage per subscriber per month, mobile is 761 minutes. Let us come to internet penetration. Total internet subscriber, that is narrowband, is less than. This is a mistake there. Actually, it's less than 512 kbps, and broadband is above 512 kilobytes per second. So total internet subscribers are 776 million. That is 77.6 crore people are using internet connections either through mobile or through the fixed line. And broadband subscribers, they are 72.6 72.6 crores, and internet subscriber per 100% is 57, which in urban area is satisfactory, but in rural area we need to work more, because that rural area the broadband internet subscriber per person is very low. And even today voice simple mobile and is being used. 2G 3G also is not in many cases. We need to increase this, and more people should have mobiles with internet facilities. Data usage, if you can see, this is again something India because of the low prices, the data use has increased very fast. So mobile data users are almost 751 million. Of that, average data usage per subscriber per month is 12 gigabyte, 11.96, and world average is around 10 gigabyte. I have not written, but it's 10. So that way, if you see that our data usage has increased tremendously in the recent years. And as far as data pricing, I think India is one of the country where the data are priced the lowest. So average per GB data cost worldwide is US dollar $8.53, and India the cost is 14 cents. That means just 14 cents. So that is rupees 10.95 per gigabyte. And telecom financial data, I think this may not be very important, but gross revenue in a quarter is around 68,000, and ARP has ARPU has gone up. Sorry, ARPU has also increased in the recent times. That we'll discuss later on. Broadcasting sector also there is an impressive improvement. See, number of subscriber TV broadcasting services has increased from 45 million subscriber in 2004 to 136 million in 2014, and now 175 millions are TV broadcasting service subscriber. Number of satellite TV, this is channels which have been permitted by the MIB, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, and increased from 160 in 2004 to 793 in 2014, and now 926 in 2020. Recently, a decision has been taken to allow them, to have their own channels. So I think this number is again, likely to increase tremendously. And number of private FM radio stations. This is again, actually the radio was gone, but today, if you can see, after TRAI recommended, there were only 21 FM radios in 2004, which increased to 242 in 2014 and 367 in 2020. And number of operational community radio stations. This is radio. Anybody, any agency, any NGO, any university, they can have their own radios. The number is not very impressive, but 290 community, radio stations are already working. And I think if we can pick the rules, I think more people will be able to take benefit of this. We are looking at this. Then number of MSOs registered with MIB. This service provider, multi-service providers. They have increased from 115 in 2013 to 1,648 in 2020. So now, I will just give, already we have discussed, but just this shows the kind of contrast, the kind of achievement India has received. In 1998, we had 0.88 million mobile subscriber. That was the mobile, the mobile holders. Today it is 1148.58. The same way, wireless internet, internet subscriber, wireless plus wireline, it was 11.89 in 2011, and today we have 726.32 million mobile, internet subscriber. The kind of internet penetration and the kind of online digitization of the economy, which is taking at a very, very fast rate. This shows that in the recent years, the increase in the digital economy has been tremendous. So this again, same thing. We are trying to show the total internet subscriber, broadband plus narrowband. So if you can see that, the narrowband is increasing, decreasing. It was 210 in June 2015 and has gone down to 50 million. And broadband, that is, the mobile-based internet, the more than 512 kbps, that is increasing tremendously. It has increased from 319.42 in 2015 to 749 million. So that shows that there is this shows the contrast, the kind of achievement India has has been able to register in a very small space of 4 to 5 years. Same way, growth in mobile data usage. This has been largely facilitated because of the decreasing prices of the data, because of the onset of new technologies and introduction of 4G. So if you can see, the data usage were 458. This is petabytes. 1 petabyte is 10 raised to 6 gigabyte. I think you people can understand. But that has increased to 22,318 petabytes. And as we can see, the 2G, 3G, that decreasing as the time is passing. And total internet subscriber, if you, I think this I have already told. So this I think I will cross. So now let us, this shows the contrast, how the telecom, how the digital communication has been transformed in India. So if you can see, the data usage per data subscriber in GB. So it was 3.18 gigabyte per month per data, per subscriber in 2014, which has now gone up to 120 gigabyte, and but the cost of the 1 gigabyte was 268.97 in 2014, It has come down to just 10 rupees, 11 rupees in 2020. So this shows that there is a huge use of data, but at the same time, the cost of data usage has gone down. So you can see, despite this, the gross revenue has not decreased very significantly, though it has decreased in 2017, 18, and 19. Only reason is that the introduction of 4G is faster and it's also very cost effective. So so it is possible to give the data at a very cheaper rate, and there was competition also. There are two aspects why the gross revenue has decreased, but it has not decreased in a very significant manner. Yes, there are problems and there are issues, but those issues are not unsurmountable. That is what I believe. I support this statement by showing you the quarterly ARPU. ARPU means average revenue per user per month. So it was 82.8% in 2017, and now slowly it has started going up. So in June 2020, September 2020, we have got the other provisional figure, but let us take the final figure which we have published. So 103 rupees already, average revenue per user per user per month has been now achieved. So that means revenue will increase, and as the 5G is introduced and as the use cases increases, IoT and other technologies are introduced, and as more and more people are integrated, and as the inclusive growth of the digital economy takes place, the ARPU is likely to increase. And I consider that if we are very careful about how to steer the economy, telecom economy, and then I think it will be a win-win situation for everyone. And global comparison, India is among the top 3 global economies in the number of digital consumers, and India is one of the biggest consumer of data worldwide also. That I have already given details, so I will not talk about it. And India is the second largest number of instant messaging service users, and we are just behind China. And social media user also, we are the second largest in the world. Then Aadhaar, India's unique digital identity program, it covers 1.2 billion people, the largest system of its type globally. And India has the fastest, second fastest rate of growth of digital adoption. This is something which is very, very noteworthy. Country-wise, if you can see, so country-wise, India, so internet tele density is of 57.29, and Arab countries 57.1, Asia Pacific 50.9, and developing countries average 46.7. Against that, our tele density is though slightly less compared to Western countries, but we are catching up very, very fast. And if we can cover the rural areas, I think we'll be able to be in the top rung of the ranking system. So again, data cost, you can see, the data cost, India is just 10.95, UK is 286 per GB, USA is 331 rupees. We have converted in rupees, and global average is 366. So against that, India's, I think, data usage cost is very, very low. And total internet subscribers per 100 population, this you can see. I will not go into that, but India, internet subscribers per 100 population 54.3, and the world, the world is 53.6, and developed country is 86.6. If we can cover, again, as I told you, if we can cover the rural areas, and I think BharatNet, if we implement properly, the target as envisaged in the NTCP policy, it will be easy to see. Data usage, I have already told. Data usage per gigabyte, I have already told. We are one of the, we are comparable to the world, and that is the thing. So and other sector also, because as the telecom sector grew, it has helped in other other sector also, especially unified payment interface has now recorded 2.07 billion transaction worth of 3.86 lakh crores. This is one of the most successful successful use of internet and telecommunication. Then development of electronic healthcare applications like mHealth and telemedicine services helping fixing appointments of doctors and consultants. That is a great boon during the pandemic. FDI has has increased from between 2014 to 2020, almost to $24.3 billion worth of FDI has come to India in telecom sector. And by recently declaring this PLI scheme, I think this will further increase. 400 universities, nearly 20,000 colleges in the country are now connected by IP-based cloud of BSNL. Schools, almost all schools, they were using mobiles, for learning from home when the schools were closed. Over 250 programs are available online in phase 1, National Program of Technology Enhanced Learning, and another 990 courses in various disciplines of science and engineering are slated to go online in phase 2. So, pandemic, so everyone knows, huge work. India, I think telecommunication was one where, we remained connected, and this allowed people to stay at home. They had the access to the, entertainment channels. They had access to the, other way they could work at the home. So, there TRAI played very important role in, directing and ensuring that the telecommunication service remains, operational. So now, this is the thing, how this was achieved. So I think, TRAI is considered, it is reputed among the, world regulators, and our consultation papers, our recommendations are very, very closely read and, and followed up. In ITU, also, TRAI papers and their recommendations are viewed with a lot of respect. So, one way to look at the telecom revolution in India is to look at the subscriber tele density, the data usage, the tariff. That already I have told. But another way is to look at the multiplier effect on the Indian economy. And that has been a very tremendous, tremendous impact, and I think a positive impact. There may be certain, weaknesses, but I think, in any technology, is more that, how we use the technology, that is more important. So, TRAI has been creating a blueprint for an extraordinary story of guiding 3 ways. We guide, innovate, and building consensus. We also bring best practices from the world over, and we regulate with light touch. We are not very, very rigid and we largely believe in forbearance, that the sector should be left to it unless and until, there is some distortion, TRAI does not intervene. That has been our maxim from the, inception. So, some of the, I will not go into this in a detail because it's a long thing, but I can tell you, some of the things you will relate. Yes, this was done and this is what happened. So just, that is why I'm giving you the example of some of the important recommendations which changed the, face of telecommunication and digital economy of the country. For example, in 1998, this I am just giving the, I'm just giving the a general, growth story in a map, but we can skip this and I will go one by one. So, we have, as I told you, our telecommunication tariff orders, largely, it's a forbearance. We don't believe in regulating unless required. So, and if we think that competition is not enough, then, we go for, regulations, and they are also a light touch. But we are very, very particular about quality of service. This is very, very important. So we have mobile banking regulations, 2012, then standard of wireless data service regulation 2012. Then we have, quality of service regulations for broadband service. Then we have, standard for quality of service for basic telephone service, wireline, and cellular mobile service regulation 2019. We have consumer protection. We have come out with a lot of regulation, 3 regulations basically, and this is very, very important so that consumers are, their interests are taken care of, and the service which they are getting is timely, and they are not charged in a very, very discriminatory manner. Same way, mobile number portability, we have brought out the regulations. Interconnection regulation also we have brought out when, inter-operator settlement charges, we had prescribed. So, now, which are the important recommendations which we made? So 4-5 sectors we make the recommendation: policy issues, licensing, spectrum, broadband, mobile number portability, and other important recommendations. I will talk about that. So let's see, there was only one operator in national long distance. There was only one, and that was Government of India. And this, we, TRAI recommended, opening up this, this sector. And today there are 40 NLD operators. What it helped in, led to the competition and choice in the services. The price rates came down. It helped the businesses to reduce the cost, and FDI came in this sector. So that 40 NLD, if you remember, long distance calls, the prices have come down. Otherwise, it was almost, it was prohibitive to talk, say, from Delhi to Bangalore. It was almost impossible. Same thing happened in international long distance services. It was very, very costly, and there was only one BSNL which was providing this service. TRAI again recommended, and today to have 27 ILD operators in India, and the call rates of the international long distance calls have come down, heavily. So, this is very, very important recommendation. Same way, cellular mobile service provider, there were only 2 private and 1 PSU operator. In 2000, we recommended, and idea came up, that was the 4th regulator we introduced. And after that, later on, a lot of other people also came. Then, one important decision, which was recommendation was made by the TRAI, was that to create an, universal service obligation in order to reach out to the far-flung areas, hilly areas, and backward areas, so that, the fund, the fund which is created from this can be used both there. And that fund has been used, and from that, we have put up a village public telephone and rural telephone lines, mobile network in northeastern and left wing extremism areas, submarine cable to Andaman Nicobar very recently, it has been put up, Lakshadweep under process, and then expansion of broadband network in the country through BharatNet, Arunachal Pradesh, northeastern, all these areas are being covered by using this fund. And it has helped, it has helped us to give this service to the areas which otherwise would not have been, otherwise the private sector would not have gone there. Same way, unified access service license. This earlier there were different licenses for mobile and fixed line. So we recommended there is no need to have 2 different licenses. It should be simple. So that that this helped us in ease of doing business is one thing, but it also, a service provider could provide both mobile telephony as well as the fixed line. So this was a very, very important recommendation, and it brought a lot of change in the telecom industry. And most important, this unified licensing, and this 9 different services. There were 9 different services. For every service, you had to take a different license. So TRAI recommended that no need, there should be a single license for different services. And now today only 20 unified licenses are there, and they can provide 13 different kind of services. This is very, very important. Same way, National Digital Communication Policy. I think you all should read this document. In TRAI, has played a very, very important role. It is very, very future looking and very, very transformational in nature. And TRAI played a very major role. In-flight connectivity, this we recommended in 2018. Already Vistara has started. Many more companies will be, many more airlines will start in-flight connectivity. So it will be easy for us to talk to people and work online even in the flight. And OSP, what has happened by the many countries, the call centers and BPOs, our growth was not very strong. In the beginning, it was there, but the other countries came up. So TRAI looked at the whole issue, and TRAI asked for the ease of doing business and reducing the regulations on them. Recently, it has been accepted, and I'm sure that after this, the BPOs and call centers, the business processing, this business will come up. It has been made very, very simple registration and very simple, regulations. So, this is recently it has been accepted, and I'm sure that this business will again, pick up in a very, very significant manner. Naturally, we have recommended allocation of pricing spectrum for 3G, various brand, and now already the process of auction is underway. We had made many recommendations, and we have been at least what has happened, that TRAI has solved the problem dispute about pricing. 2G, whatever, very watershed judgment. After that, there was huge problem, and TRAI has entered into this, fix the prices, take the process of allocation, and that has brought transparency in the whole business. Then what we also recommended, delinking spectrum from the service license. Otherwise, earlier when you take the license, spectrum was being given. Now that has been done away with, and because of that, the access spectrum is assigned through auction mechanism, and you can take the service license. After that, you you can take part in the auction and you can take the license. So this has brought a lot of transparency. So one very, very important recommendation many people may not know was we recommended that we recommended that the spectrum should be technology neutral. That means any spectrum can be used for any kind of technology, whether it's 4G, 5G, 3G, 2G. This has, that, and that means a spectrum through auction is completely technology neutral, and facilities for operator to deploy new spectrum efficient technology they can apply. And this is very very important recommendation, and because of that, while many TSPs at present they are talking about deploying 5G in some of the spectrum. They say they will start using the 5G in the, using the even waiting without waiting for the spectrum to be allocated for 5G. Naturally, those spectrum when we auction, they will take part into that, but they can start using 5G technology in India even before the spectrums are allotted. And this one very important thing which we allowed, TRAI recommended, that spectrum can be traded. See, many companies, they cannot use the spectrum. So, the spectrum was not being utilized. Secondly, it was a huge burden on the company which has acquired the spectrum. So, spectrum trading was allowed. And the second very important, spectrum sharing was allowed. So, suppose you don't want to share the spectrum, but meanwhile you have certain spectrum with you, so you can share with the other TSPs. This efficient utilization of spectrum, reduction in cost could be achieved, because of these two very very significant recommendations by TRAI. Broadband, we have made a national broadband plan, BharatNet project. BharatNet project came up after the recommendation of TRAI. Then, very important, this is going to be very important in even 5G, that numbering for identifying of equipment and machines on internet and mobile computers, laptop. This will be further working on that. And when IoTs come, IoTs and other mobiles, number of medical devices and number of devices are likely to come up. And at that time, this numbering, our recommendation, we may have a further look at that. So that we may improve upon this, but at present this is working very very satisfactory. And as I told, net neutrality earlier, now the TSPs cannot make any discrimination. So all the internet access has to be neutral. There were talks that some of the TSPs will enter into agreement with some of the internet providers, and they will not allow others internet providers to have access. So consumers would have been in problem. So TRAI immediately recommended this. This was accepted, and today internet access is all TSPs are supposed to provide. So net neutrality is a very very important recommendation which have been accepted and implemented. And mobile number portability, this decision was taken that mobile number can be made portable from within the service area, and later on between different companies also. So you have a mobile, say of the Jio, then you can or Airtel, you can change that, and you can go to other company. You need not change your mobile number. This is very very important thing. It has actually helped in protecting the interest of the consumers. Otherwise, earlier you had to apply. So there are many other recommendations. I will not go into this, but some of the things we can say. The licensing is relative licensing of fixed service provider. This was improved upon. Then voicemail, audio text. This has now become not very important, but I know that at that time we brought in, and that helped the industries and the commercial establishments in a great manner. Then internet telephony we had recommended. Then IP interface, this interconnection over IP, internet protocol interface, in addition to circuit switch network, we had made the recommendation. Then virtual network, recently we had made the recommendation in 2015. Recently it has been accepted, and here the VNO were not taking up. So recently government had decided that they will be given a passover. So VNO are likely to increase, and today only four telecom service providers are there. VNO, if they come up, innovations can come up, more enterprises can come up, and more services can be provided which are needed by the industries and consumers in a localized manner. Then this efficient utilization of mobile numbering resources. So this we had recommended. So without moving to 11-digit numbering scheme, sufficient number of resources we could do, and at and they use even today 10-digit numbering scheme without any inconvenience to customers and operators. Um, Again, numbering resources for fixed line and mobile services. This has been now recently accepted. So zero is required to be added for dialing from the fixed line to mobile. So this will again, make adequate numbering resources for fixed line as well as the mobile service. Because when the 5G comes, more fixed line connections will be coming up as the time passes. So this has been already accepted, and it has been implemented by the telecom department. Infrastructure, I will in building access by the telecom service provider. We came out with the recommendation. Then this thing Andaman New I have already told. Then northeastern states I have already told. The machine-to-machine communication, we have made recommendation, and they have already implemented a separate 13-digit numbering scheme for SIM-based cellular M2M and IoT devices. And so this, then cloud services we have recommended for formation of industry body. This is under consideration, and we have gone for self-regulation by the cloud service providers. Again, you can see TRAI has been very, very careful. We if the self-regulation can be easily achieved by the industrial body, then we would not like to enter into that area. And naturally, we also recommended for measure for reduction of carbon footprint and use of renewable energy. This has been implemented, and many companies have taken benefit of this also. I think many disabled, we have made a recommendation for disabled people, and it's very technical but very, very important for the disabled people. And this I think likely to be accepted very soon. Then single number based integrated emergency communication response system. This you all know 112 for all kind of emergencies pan India. So this has actually police, fire, ambulance, women helpline. This is the recommendation of TRAI, which has been implemented. Many people will not even know that this is the recommendation of TRAI, which was accepted, which have changed the very the very nature of handling the emergencies. Then public Wi-Fi. Recently, we have we had recommended recently. Government accepted PM Vani. This will actually reduce the problem of internet connectivity when you move from one place to another and you visit certain congested area or the restaurant or the hotels. So this is under implementation, and this is likely to be a very great boon for the consumers at large. So I will, we have made also many recommendations in privacy. Recently, we have made recommendation for data, privacy, security, and ownership of data. So the privacy bill which has come up has many of the recommendations which we have made have been included. Then auction of spectrum we have made and already accepted. I think 5G also they will be taking decision very soon. And promoting local telecom equipment manufacturing of that PLI scheme has already been has come up. There are many other things which we are working on. And then recommendation of cloud services we have made, and the traffic management practices for net neutrality. These also we have made the recommendation. I will not go into this detail because this is huge thing, but these are the recommendations which we have made and which is likely to attract the investment. See, data, I consider data is going to be the biggest, game changer. And those who own the data and who can monetize the data will, control the economy, not only of our country, but the whole world. And, we are very, very careful. We have made recommendation on privacy, security, and ownership of data, but we are also, working on the other recommendation in order to create a data economy in the country. So we create an ecosystem so that, more people will invest in, data parks and data centers and issues related to data. And second is, auction of spectrum. I already told, I will not go into that. Local manufacturing I have told, and the cloud service I have told, traffic management I have told. Now, broadcasting sector, again, it's a very, very, fast changing scenario. You can see, I will not go into this, but see, number of subscribers, I have already told this, so I will not tell but about this. Now, we have come out with tariff orders for controlling, for broadcaster to declare MRP for each channel. It was not there. So, people were giving different MRP to different consumers. So that we have controlled the interconnection regulations for the terms and conditions of broadcaster and the distributor platform operators, cable operators, so that interconnection happens smoothly in the sector. and quality of service, very, very important, because we recommended and we mandated that operator has to display MRP of each channel and electronic programming guide. So this is there. FM radio, I have already told, that a huge number of increase. There was actually, otherwise radio has gone out of fashion. But after this recommendation, now already, in phase 2, 243 FM radio has come up. In phase 3, 367 FM radio station have come in 105 cities. So, we made this recommendation. One more recommendation we have made, which is likely to be accepted very soon. Then community radio station, I've already told, it has not picked up, but anybody can start a community radio station, for example, universities, NGOs, and other agencies, and there is no entry fee, no spectrum and license fee. There are around 359 permissions have been given. I think this can be, we will be looking at the issues, and I think, this can be liberalized so that, more people use community radio within the community. It can be done. And community radio stations, I have already told this, we have in this community radio station, we just, we relaxed the guidelines for extension and renewal of existing permissions, and that has been accepted. This head in the sky, it basically allowed, content to be downloaded by the LCO and MCO directly from the satellite. Then IPTV, again, this is not very, very popular. There are only two operators. But as the fixed line increases, the IPTV is going to become very, very important. Internet protocol TV. So fixed lines, because it's decreasing, not many. One AP government, one private limited company, and Daily Net in Delhi, they are using IPTV. But as the fixed line increases, I think this will become very popular. An issue relating to uplinking, downlinking annual channels in India. This that has increased after our recommendation. Channels has increased from 524 to 926 at present, and of that 840 channels of this 926, 840 channels are now being uplinked from India. And not only that, India has become the hub for uplinking the channels. So this is again recommendation of the TRAI. And foreign direct investment, we had asked government to liberalize that. They have liberalized, excluding, I think, by excluding newspapers and news channels. Otherwise, the FDI has been completely liberalized. Digitalization of cable television. This is very important. Earlier it was analog kind of set-top box. Now, TRAI made recommendation in 2005 and 2010. In 2007, the work was completed. And today, so two things happened. And when the set-top box were digitalized, two things happened. One, the quality of service improved. And secondly, consumer choice increased because you can show more channels. You can give more choices of channels because of this digital set-top box. Analogs are now almost, they are completely gone. And we went for television rating agencies, all BARC, and we have some problems. But this is what we have. But recently we have recommended how to improve channel this thing. I think other thing I will not touch. For example, we have made ease of doing business in broadcasting sector recommendation are there. KYC for DTH we had suggested. Interoperability of set-top box we have recommended. Review of television audience measurement rating system we have again recommended. And what are the challenges at present? As I can see, one channel is that we need to increase the broadband speed. This is very, very important. Secondly, our fiberization is very low. We are only 30% fiberization. In 5G, fiberization is very important. Fixed lines are very, very important if you want to take full benefit of 5G and the new technologies. Internet availability through Wi-Fi hotspots. Already, PM1E is coming up. But we are of the opinion that in areas where you cannot lay the fixed line, wireless can be used as an access, and this is possible. And regulatory challenges, as you say, because of the conversion of technology, regulatory is also, all these things are given. I will not go into this, but fiberization, as you can see, we are nothing, 0.09%, fiber deployment population ratio. Other countries you can see. So, this we need to improve on this. And internet availability through Wi-Fi hotspot is very, very important. And then regulatory challenges, consumer privacy, consumer rights, quality of service, content regulation, and cyber security. These are the things we need to, we need to be very, very careful. if we want to serve the citizens, and we want to make the business very, very secure about using the internet. And way forward, as I told you, we have to implement NDCP 2018. That is one thing. And we need to increase adoption of digital techniques and technologies like IoT, M2M, artificial intelligence, industry 4.0. And use cases should come up very, very important. Already people have started working. And India, one good thing is that a lot of new startups have already started working on use cases in various sectors and industries. And we need to formulate policies and regulation which will help in adoption of digitization more secure and reliable manner. Naturally, it goes without saying that our data requires a protection, privacy, and cyber security. That is very, very important, and we need to bring a legislation to protect the citizens. I think I will not. I've completed. Took more time, but I think it was very important that when I am talking about TRAI, I joined very recently, but TRAI has worked very well, and it has somehow